Welcome to Manifesting Basics, where we make manifesting a basic lifestyle. This podcast is about how to become a manifesting basic and how to live a more enchanted life. I'm your host, Amber Turner, author and creator of the most simple and basic manifesting methodology, Manifesting Made Basic. I am also the author of various books, including the spiritual book, You Choose Your Outfit, and the children's book, The Fearless Muscle. In each episode, we will dive into various topics of the human experience, such as transformation, feminine energy and womanhood, and manifesting an incredible life and experience. Join me as we commune, learn, grow, and expand. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast for weekly episodes. Let's go. Welcome to Manifesting Basics. So we have an exciting and very insightful episode today. I'm really excited to dive deep into love and relationship, because I think that we make it complex and it can be quite complex. But I want to reframe love, and I want to kind of look at love on an energetic level, on a spiritual level, and what that means for you. So, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to start with this question because this one is going to help you with digesting this episode, because I've done a series on my YouTube channel and it's called Manifest It Like a Woman. So, kind of look at a feminine perspective to reality creation and making it this beautiful love story. And so, I want to ask you this question. Can you take ownership of your love life? Can you truly, truly take ownership of your love life? Now, I ask this question because a lot of times we believe that our love life is really dictated by the other person, whether it's toxic or healthy. It can be healthy or loving. It's all dictated by the other person, by the external reality. Now, I want to ask you this question because in this episode, we're going to dive deep into what is love, and can we take ownership of love? And then it manifests in our reality. Because I like to talk about feminine energy. I like to come from a more feminine perspective when it comes to love and life and reality creation and the metaphysics of it all. But often we think that we have to do these things to then get this thing. Now, if you follow me on these episodes, I always talk about coming from a place of being. Now, is it the easiest thing to do? No, girlfriend, I know it's not, because I often have to remind myself and listen to my own episodes like, girl, didn't you say that last episode? Why aren't you implementing it in your real life? But coming from a place of being, and that then manifests in our reality. So when it comes to our love life, our relationships, our marriage, and, things like that, how do we come from a place of being, right? How do we come from a place of an internal game that then manifests as a loving, beautiful, incredible, rich, loving relationship in our outer reality? Because this thing always starts on the inside. And I always say, with even feminine energy, there's a lot of teachings out there that says, hey, if you do these things, then you'll get Y. If you do X, you'll get Y. If you act this way, then these things will show up in a masculine provider, or, things like that. And so now I really want to talk about love and where it starts, and how really you can take ownership of your own love life. It is not dependent on anyone else but you. Now, with that being said, I want you to say with me, love is mine. It exists in me. Mine. Love is mine. It exists in me. Now, I want to kind of give you a visual representation of mine because I've done posts on this and I think it's kind of dope how you can see the word mine, M-I-N-E, mine, and how the word in, I-N, is in between me. I hope you saw that it exists in me. Love is mine. It exists in me. So, this is going to set the tone, the foundation for this episode, because we're going to look at taking ownership of our love life and being accountable for how our love life is unfolding in our reality. Now, again, I know that society and how we've been raised, it is really dependent on the other person and how they show up. But maybe we can take ownership of our love life and say, love is mine. It exists in me. Okay, so I want to start off with the definition of mine because I like words. I like defining them. I like looking at them and kind of really playing with what they truly mean. So, mine is a pronoun and it's used to refer to a thing or things belonging to or associated with the speaker. So, can we take ownership of our love life? Can we be the speaker? Can we speak life into our love life? So, in my series, Manifest It Like a Woman, I like to do this thing where we're relating to life, our external reality, as our man. And we're having a relationship with life. Um, the thing is that we're having a relationship with life. And so and Manifest It Like a Woman in this series, we are looking at how we are relating to this thing called life. And I always talk about life being my man. My man, life is my man, and romanticizing life because we often have a constant narrative, a constant conversation that we're having with life. And when we become aware of how we're relating to life and the conversations that we're having with life, you'll better understand how life is loving you, how life is loving you, and it's coming through you. So, this relationship starts on the inside. And so, when we talk about feminine energy, when we talk about love, when we talk about marriage, it starts with this masculine aspect of ourselves, which is life. It starts with cultivating this relationship that then is manifested into our external reality. That's how this works. That's how this works. It starts on the inside, and we cultivate this relationship of this masculine aspect of ourselves, life, and we cultivate this relationship, this internal relationship. Now, I've done several videos on this sacred marriage, they call it, this internal relationship that we have. And it does extend to the child as well. But when it comes to the romantic relationship that is often manifested in our external reality, it's the relationship that we internally have with life. And so I say in Manifested Like a Woman, there's several things that happen, and it's how you're relating to this life. So, how you're relating to life. And so, like, if life presents something to you and your external reality, if life presents your friend getting married, what? How are you relating to this situation or experience? Are you having internal conversations of, she doesn't deserve it. Why is it her and not me? And like, why, like, are you having these internal conversations? Because again, this is the conversation you're having with your man with life. And so I always say in Manifest It Like a Woman in that series is that's you and your man life is at the table, you having a conversation. How do you think that life is receiving that as you say these things and you relate to that situation in that way with jealousy and disdain and all of these things? Life is like, okay, well, maybe she doesn't want that. Like if you see a beautiful woman and she's being lavished by her man and you respond with an internal conversation or even respond physically of this with disdain, with jealousy, with hate, then life is listening to you. Just like a lover, a loving partner would. Life is listening to you. Just like a loving partner would. And so, even in our external relationships, we think that it's about if I do these things, then I'm going to get Y. But I want to present to you that it is about the relationship you're having with life and how you're responding to life and how you're interacting with life and these conversations that you're having with life. It is this internal relationship that you are cultivating and building trust and feeling safe and, being consistent with. That's going to be be manifested in your external reality. And so anything that's being reflected to you, and even in your own relationship, in your own marriage, it's showing you something about yourself. It's showing you something about yourself. And so if you can be inquisitive, if you come from a place of, okay, I'm in a relationship with life. I'm in a beautiful, loving relationship with life. How do I show up? And what would love do in this situation? If you come from that place and you're cultivating this pure love, and you're releasing things that are untruths like unworthiness, it's not true. Self doubt, it's not true. You're releasing these things that are untrue and that are not of a loving relationship. That is the cultivating of this relationship that is going to show up in your real life, in your manifested reality. Because if things, even if you're in a relationship, if you're in, you take ownership of it. You come from a place of, okay, I'm going to take ownership of my love life. And something is showing up, like your partner is showing up as being insecure. That is a reflection of you being insecure. So in life, we have to look at this relationship. Okay, what aspects am I showing up and being insecure with life? And how can I heal that? Because it's not true. Insecurity, self doubt, and worthiness, all of these things are not true. How can I get to a place of pure love with my relationship with life? Because life is showing you what is in you. And so we are building and cultivating this beautiful love story within us that is then manifested in our reality, in our relationships. So I ask you again, can you take ownership of your love life? Can you take accountability of your own love life? Because love is mine and it exists in me. Love is mine. It exists in me. So, what areas are you that's showing up as you feeling unlovable, or you being insecure, or you feeling undeserving or unworthy? Can you release those things? Because we talked about in the last episode, all things are healable because it was all a dream. And so we release these past traumas that have maybe scarred us, that make us think that we're insecure or feel insecure or feel unworthy. And we release these things and we get back to pure love. We get back to this is true self love. This is radical acceptance of yourself. And so, this is the masculine aspect of yourself. You are incarnated, if you're a woman, you are incarnated as the feminine aspect of yourself in this reality. And how we are cultivating this relationship within us. And so I want to share this thing that I read in one of my favorite books. It's Awakening Shakti. I want to read this line and it's really going to pull everything together. So in this book, one of the lines that I want to share, she's talking about a quote from another book, um, the famous book We by Robert Johnson. And his point is that when the love that belongs to the divine is placed on the shoulders of a human being, it can only lead to disillusionment and tragedy. Wow, I totally butchered that. Um, but basically, that is putting too much stock, too much pressure on the external reality because this is the divine. Divine, the word divine means made up of two. Two of what? Masculine and feminine energy, which is God. And so this is the cultivation of your God self. This is the sacred marriage. This is the creation of this beautiful love story that then is manifested in your reality. So it starts on the inside. This relationship with life, with this masculine aspect of yourself, as I'm coming from a perspective of a woman, is the cultivation of your God self. And it starts on the inside. So I ask you, can you take ownership of your love life? Because love is mine and it exists in me. It exists in me. And then it is manifested in my external reality. It comes through me. And so this is what Manifested Like a Woman is about. It's this relating to life and building and creating and writing an incredible love story. You are writing a beautiful love story. How do you want this thing to play out? How do you want it to feel? Because it starts in you. Love is mine and exists in me. It exists in me first. And then I experience it in my reality. in the external dream, however you want to look at it. But like in that line that I just shared, when you put that kind of onus on another human being, it leads to tragedy. I'm not going to try to say that other word again, but it does lead to tragedy because that is the illusion. That is the illusion. It belongs to you. It starts with you. So I wanted to share that. I love talking about Manifest It Like a Woman and relating to life as this romantic story because it is. It truly is. That you're writing in this now moment. And each and every moment, you're writing this story. You are writing this story. How do you want it to play out? How do you want it to feel? So I wanted to do this video again. I love talking about this more romantic way of relating to life. I like to look at this reality creation in a more romantic way, coming from a feminine perspective. And so this is this relating to life. It starts on the inside. It's not about what you're doing, and it's not about the person. It is about who you are being. Life comes through you. It comes through you. Love is mine and it exists in me. So I want you to take ownership of your love life. When you can take full ownership and accountability of your love life, then that's game over. That's game over right there. Okay. Anyways, you guys, that's all for this podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to experience a more deepening of this manifest it like a woman of these concepts that I share, I do share a lot on my newsletter. I do share sometimes I'll share Sunday thoughts, which is part of my newsletter of just kind of things that I've kind of come across some downloads or concepts that I like to kind of put a more romantic spin on. So if you're interested in that, I invite you to subscribe to our newsletter at Manifesting Basic or manifestingmadebasic.com. And then also on ambermarieturner.com, you can sign up for my newsletter there. And yeah, I love talking about this. If you want to go deeper with this kind of thing or get more insights delivered to your inbox, I invite you to subscribe to our newsletter. Anyways, that's all for this episode. Again, love is mine and it exists in me. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will check you in the next episode of Manifesting Basics.